What's good, everybody? Welcome back to BetX Holiday Edition. And we're going to do a little recap where there were a lot of great sports moments and personal betting moments for each one of us. We're going to go through it and take you back through this year in review of some of the things that we loved. First, let's talk about our best sports moment of the year. EC, what you got?
My best sports moment of the year was the Buffalo Bills versus the Kansas City Chiefs, AFC divisional round, one of the most phenomenal sports weekends of the year. The final score was 42-36. The Kansas City Chiefs beat the Buffalo Bills in overtime, but there were 28 points scored in the fourth quarter, including 3 touchdowns and a field goal in the last minute 54. Buffalo comes down and scores and leaves 13 seconds left in the game, only to have Kansas City march down the field, score, force overtime, and win in overtime. You talk about big games from players. Tyreek Hill had 11 catches for 150 yards. Travis Kelce had 96 yards in a touchdown. Gabe Davis, 8 receptions for 201 receiving yards. It was a phenomenal game, and when you talk about offense in the NFL, that was my bright moment for the.
You went all the way back, huh?
Right.
Back to January.
Oh, yeah.
I like it. That was an unforgettable game. My favorite moments, Francis Tiafoe, his run in the U.S. Open this year, beating Nadal, the number 2 ranked player in the world at the time, in a thriller, went 5 sets. He won 6-4, 6-4, 6-3. 3 hours and 33 minutes in the round of 16. The story of him and his family growing up in his dad worked at the tennis facility. Yeah. He played with his dad and on the grounds, and him making that run, an American making that deep of a run in the U.S. Open in New York, that atmosphere, that was really, really fun. I really enjoyed watching that story progress throughout the year.
Yeah, mine is also in tennis, and it's the story of Serena Williams and her fighting against retirement and going each match in those U.S. Opens where it seemed like she was out of it and she powered through. Yeah. As you saw vintage flashes of who we saw over her entire career. And even in defeat, she went out on her shield. She fought, like her opponent had to beat her. Yeah. She didn't beat herself. And I think, for fans of Serena Williams, you would say, I wish that consistency was throughout the whole last couple of years of the run where you didn't beat yourself. You had to force the other opponent to beat you. But it was great, and it was a great story of perseverance, of willpower, and of support, because people came far and wide to make sure that she had the support and didn't want it to be the next game to be her last game. Eventually she did lose, but I think that was a situation where you lost and you went out as a winner still.
Oh, yeah, it's tough. She talked about having a family or continuing her tennis career. She didn't use the word retire. It's a very, very fun, special story for one of the greatest athletes of all time.
Right, and never say never in this business. Who knows if she may wake up one day and after she makes a few more mills and endorsements and businesses and builds up the family and says, let me go get 24. I want to go get 24.
Right.
So now, we made a lot of bets on this show in 2022. Some hit, some did the opposite of hit, right? But we've had some big winners, and I want to know your best personal betting moment of the year.
Mine was, I bet on the Colorado Avalanche before the NHL season started last year. Yeah. Got them at plus 645 to win the NHL Stanley Cup, and they just had a phenomenal year. They were clicking all season long. I was betting on their prop bets. I was betting on the Avalanche to win for the spread all season long. They just never let up, never let me down, and ended up winning the Stanley Cup. That was my best bet.
Your big-time offense, they really closed it out. They put a lot of pressure on you, similar to what the Devils are doing right now to people in the NHL this year.
Yeah, and I was wrong. It was 625. Plus 625, not 645 for the Avalanche. But, man, it was just a great run for me.
Yeah, no question. Mine is T.J. Watt, DPOY. I got him at plus 700 in Week 13. 5 forced fumbles, 22.5 sacks. The Trayvon Diggs narrative was big. The reason I jumped on this is because we were talking about how many interceptions he had. He was leading the league in interceptions all year from the start. But then some numbers leaked that the people that he was going up against were cooking him, but he was getting in spots to turn people over. So that narrative kind of flipped off of him. I jumped on TJ Watt in week 13 at plus 700, ended up working out for me. I didn't have the $5 into $500,000 like I see on some of these Twitter plays. I don't go too crazy with the parlays. I just try to grind it out day by day, week by week, and then hopefully at the end of the month it's profitable. But yeah, that was my favorite play and best play last year or this year. TJ Watt plus 700 to win Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, for me, I'll stay with football. Odell Beckham Jr. first touchdown in the Super Bowl plus 900. And this was something where it wasn't even just like for me a lucky hit. I was watching the Rams offense throughout the Super Bowl. He was the one that Stafford went to first. Yeah. They did that fade route in the end zone. Anytime they got into the red zone, it was that first play, snap, red zone, and then if it didn't hit, then they go to another play. And the Bengals actually had the ball first, and we came down and we scored. That cashed for me, and I was happy. And my only regret was that I didn't put anything else more. I didn't put a little bit more. I put it just enough for me to say, you know what? I could chill off the rest of the game.
Right. Oh, yeah.
But I wish I would have put a little bit more. So those were some of our bests for 2022. We got a lot more in store for you. Don't go nowhere. Lock in with us on the Betting Exchange.